the reason why I went to Arkansas is, first off, I told the coaches that I wanted to play quarterback because back then I thought I was a good quarterback. And so I wanted to play quarterback in college. And a lot of colleges, they're like, no, we're going to move you to DB. Mm-hmm. But the coaches from Arkansas told me that, hey, we're going to give you an opportunity to play quarterback. And I say this about Ken Hatfield. He was the new coach that came in. Mm-hmm. And, I talked to him about it. And he said, yeah, we'll give you an opportunity to play. But, man, it was after 3 days, my first year there, he called me into his office and he said, hey, Steve, if I know you want to play quarterback, and if you decide to do that, hey, we're fine with it, but it may be a while before you play. He said, now, however, if you want to try the safety position, move over to safety, you probably won't start. We still want to redshirt you, but I want you to be able to travel with the team and kind of see what the locker room is like on the roads and everything, on the road trips and everything. And that sounded good to me. So, and first 3 days of practice, that was kind of rough on me anyway. I wasn't able to do that veer option offense, those reads I wasn't used to. So, I jumped at the opportunity to switch over. And I say he kind of had that in his mind all along that we're going to bait him down here. We'll let him think he's going to play quarterback and do the old switcheroo. But I'm actually grateful that he did it because I don't know how far I would have made it as a quarterback.
Welcome to the Greatness Ignited podcast, where we have conversations about the greatness of others so that you can recognize the greatness in you. My name is Barry Overton, and I have been studying greatness for the last 7 years, and it is taking my career to new heights. And now me and a few of the successful people that I have had the honor of interviewing are coming together to ignite your greatness and light the fire within.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, welcome to another episode of Greatness Ignited, where we're having discussions about the greatness in others so that you can recognize the greatness in you. Today, I am so happy to have the gentleman that's on today. Again, just the definition of greatness in regards to not just his career in the NFL, but just how he has lived his life. Let me just tell you a little bit about him. An 11-year veteran of the National Football League, 8 years as a Pro Bowl player, going to the Pro Bowl All-Star game. Also a 2-time Super Bowl champion. He's currently in the Ring of Fame for the Denver Broncos and was just recently nominated and is now going to be a Pro Football Hall of Famer as of February 1st, 2020, but he'll be going in and inducted officially this summer. And someone that they call the Smiling Assassin, and you'll see why as we have the conversation here. But without any further ado, ladies and gentlemen, Mr. Steve Atwater. How you doing, sir?
Hey, what's going on, Barry? Hey, thanks for having me on your show. I'm honored to be on with you.
Oh, and I'm honored to have you, man. And, like I said, really just from personally knowing you and knowing your career, you really do epitomize what greatness looks like and greatness is as far as my definition of it. So that's why when I was putting this podcast together and I started creating my list of people that I wanted to have be a part of it, your name was definitely at the top of the list. So I'm glad we were able to make this happen.
Absolutely. Same here.
Yeah. So, and with the whole premise of the podcast is really, like I said, to get anyone that's listening to this, I don't care where they're at in life, whether they're, on a climb and they're reaching for their greatness, or they're just trying to figure out this whole greatness thing. It all starts in the beginning somewhere. There's a story that's in the beginning. So I love to have my guests come on and really just kind of share, life in the beginning for Steve Atwater, because again, people got to know you, when you were playing college football and when you became a first-round draft pick for the Denver Broncos. But there's a story before that, and it's really the story before that in most cases that make the individual that we get to know, from that becomes that Hall of Famer. So what can you share with us about, life growing up in St. Louis, Missouri?
Oh yeah, man. That was a long time ago, and a lot of work, a lot of hard work was put in between back then and right now. I grew up in St. Louis. Loving family. My mother and father, although they weren't together, my dad, he was definitely in my life, played a big role in really everything that I did. He was, my role model. And but we didn't have much. My dad, he worked for the post office. My mom, she worked at a hospital in St. Louis for several years. And, the neighborhood we grew up in, it was, kind of the same thing all the way around. A bunch of nice people. I wouldn't say we were poor, but we didn't have a whole bunch of resources to do a whole bunch of extra stuff. I mean, maybe we were poor, but I don't like looking at it like that. I look at it like we had a lot of good people there who had a lot of potential, and I think the biggest thing for me was being able to excel at the sport of football. My pops got me involved with football when I was young, and that once I got started with football, I was a pretty good player right from the start. Don't know how it happened. You know how it is with some people. They can pick up a basketball, they can make 10 shots in a row after not ever shooting a basketball. That's kind of how I was with football. It just kind of came naturally to me.
Yeah.
And I was fortunate to my dad. He paid for me to go to a private high school. And I think that if I hadn't gone to that private high school, I don't think that I would be here right now. I mean, I won't say I wouldn't be here, but I don't think the path would have been nearly the same. Get a chance to go to the private high school in St. Louis. I got a chance to meet some amazing young men. I had some great teachers and mentors. They loved on us. And my boys from St. Louis, hey man, we're still best friends to this day. Yeah. And some of those guys were in a similar situation to me, but there were also guys who weren't, who actually were doing pretty well. Their families were doing well, and they accepted me in. They didn't say, "Oh man, you guys don't have much, so we're going to treat you a certain way." They treated me like I was their brother. Mm-hmm. And, that really meant a lot to me growing up. And, I use that as motivation. And I go to their house and say, man, this is a nice house, man. I hope that I can, have my mom live in a house like this one day, or I can have a house like this one day. They just, I don't know if they ever know how much that inspired me. Just being able to, go in their house and then, see families where the mother and fathers were in the household together. Again, my mom and dad, they split up a couple of times, but the majority of my life, my dad wasn't in the house with me. But again, he was in my life, but not necessarily living there with us. So had a very good high school experience. Again, just, met some great guys, and we bonded well, and again, great teachers and mentors, coaches, the whole 9 yards. And so I got the opportunity to, play in college because, we did pretty good in high school. And I was able to earn a scholarship to play at the University of Arkansas. And one of my like my big brothers, a guy named Bobby Joe Edmonds, he went to my high school. He graduated a few years prior to me, and he went to Arkansas. And so when I went down for my visit, we spent a lot of time together. And then there were some coaching changes after I had visited. And when the time come to make the decision, it was a new coach there. and I hadn't really gotten a chance to spend much time with him. But I talked to my guy Bobby Joe, and he said, "Hey, man, it's going to probably be even better than it was at first." So I said, "Oh, really?" So I went ahead and decided to go to Arkansas, and had a good career down there. That's where I met my beautiful wife, and kind of the rest is history. But that was kind of the story from a little boy up to my college days.
Yeah. And so I was doing some research before this interview to prepare for it, and I found something that I didn't even know. So this is a fun fact, I'm sure, for probably most of the audience and people that have followed your career. But in high school, you were a high school quarterback. Is that right?
Yeah, but I people hear that, but then there's another side to that.
Okay.
The other side is I wasn't a very good quarterback. I was okay quarterback, but the thing is when I throw an interception, I was going to make the tackle because I was upset that you intercepted my pass. And I tell this joke all the time, but I actually think this is the truth. The reason why I went to Arkansas is, first off, I told the coaches that I wanted to play quarterback because back then I thought I was a good quarterback. And so I wanted to play quarterback in college. And a lot of colleges, they're like, no, we're going to move you to DB. Mm-hmm. But the coaches from Arkansas told me that, hey, we're going to give you an opportunity to play quarterback. And I say this about Ken Hatfield. He was the new coach that came in. Mm-hmm. And, I talked to him about it. And he said, yeah, we'll give you an opportunity to play. But, man, it was after 3 days, my first year there, he called me into his office and he said, hey, Steve, if I know you want to play quarterback, and if you decide to do that, hey, we're fine with it, but it may be a while before you play. He said, now, however, if you want to try the safety position, move over to safety, you probably won't start. We still want to redshirt you, but I want you to be able to travel with the team and kind of see what the locker room is like on the roads and everything, on the road trips and everything. And that sounded good to me. So, and first 3 days of practice, they were kind of rough on me anyway. I wasn't able to do that veer option offense, those reads I wasn't used to. So, I jumped at the opportunity to switch over. And I say he kind of had that in his mind all along that we're going to bait him down here. We'll let him think he's going to play quarterback and do the old switcheroo. But I'm actually grateful that he did it because I don't know how far I would have made it as a quarterback.
Yeah, I hear you, man. And the thing that I picked up on when you said that if you threw an interception, you were going to make the tackle. I'm sure that if you were laying hits in high school like you did in the NFL, some of them cats, they would second guessing if they wanted to intercept that. Yeah, and what you mentioned, again, because in life we got to make pivots, and 2020 was the year of pivots.
Yes.
Make these adjustments, but that's a major life lesson that you had to learn early on in regards to being in high school and having this desire to do it at one position, and then having a coach that kind of done it in a backdoor kind of way. But man, you think about the career that went into motion from that decision. So definitely the right move to make with that. Yeah.
Now I played safety as well in high school. Okay. But I didn't play as much. Sometimes, especially in big games, coaches say, hey, we don't want you playing safety today. We just want you to play quarterback. Yeah. But yeah, so I was pretty familiar with it once I made the switch. It wasn't like I had to learn something just totally new. So,
yeah,
put that in there as well. Yeah.
Yeah. So with it, you played for 4 years
of high school.
No,
college.
Did you play? You played 4 years in college?
Actually, I redshirted, so I was there for 5 years.
Okay.
Yeah, four solid years of playing though. Yeah, I started 3 of those years.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. And then, so when I was looking at your statistics in college, you were 3 years All Southwest Conference, 2 years All American, and then a first round draft pick. So I mean, definitely a great move to go to that position of safety. Yeah. So then you're off to the Denver Broncos at that point. And were you a starter your first year?
Yeah, and I want to tell you just one other funny story. You know, I know a lot of guys when they come out now, they know they're first rounders. And for me, like I didn't know that. I didn't take, I guess all the social media and everything wasn't out then.
Yeah.
But I remember going into my trainer's office at Arkansas and sitting down, and my fingers, they were all swollen up. I was like Dean, the guy named Dean Weber, like, Dean, man, my hands, they're killing me. Mm-hmm. And he's like, those hands gonna make you a lot of money one day. I looked over, I was like, what? I'm like, you know something I don't know? And that's the first that was the first sign that I had gotten that, hey, I may potentially be able to go into the NFL.
Wow. Yeah. And that kind of leads me into one of the areas I always like to talk about. Now, I usually ask my guests, when did you recognize your greatness? And a lot of times people are taken back by the question, because again, when you hear someone saying that, it's like, we can look at other people, like we can look at Tom Brady and say, man, that's greatness. Or we can look at, I know realtors right here in the Denver market that do some amazing business. And I say, man, that's greatness. But a lot of times looking at myself, I don't necessarily recognize that greatness, but it's when other people start bringing it up to you. So it sounds like, was that the first time you had that light bulb come on of, okay, this could be the next level for me?
Well, it was kind of the first time. It's like it wasn't even in my word. I wasn't even thinking about it. I wasn't walking around, yeah, I'm going to the NFL, because I wasn't aware enough, I guess.
Yeah.
But once he told me that, and I mean, I got focused in too, boy. Hey, no drinking, no hanging out. I was just, hey, I'm lifting weights. I'm graduating, and I'm going to the NFL.
Yeah, and then that first year that you were in, I was looking, like I said, looking at the stats, and I saw that Defensive Rookie of the Year, you were number 2 to a guy named Derek Brooks.
Derek Thomas.
Excuse me, Derek Thomas. That's right. And again, if you're gonna be second to anybody, you got to be second too.
Yeah, DT, he was amazing.
Yeah, man. God rest his soul. I mean, that was heartbreaking when I saw that news.
Same here.
But yeah, so that and that's a pretty amazing feat in itself, though, just being that second on that list. Defensive Rookie of the Year, and that was really it just continued to catapult your career over the next 11 years. What would you say was the experience like, just being in the NFL?
Oh man, it was a great experience, especially after playing in college, because in college, I think college was way more difficult than the NFL, because not only did you have to play football and practice and meetings and lift weights, but you also had to go to school and do homework in the evenings. Yeah. But I guess that kind of prepared us for, studying the playbook. But the playbook is much easier than studying calculus or something and history. So I guess that prepared us for it. Yeah, it was a blessing to be able to go from college and then, have some success, that first year and on in there.
You take a kid that this is your dream, and then you go into high school, you go into college, and then at some point, all of a sudden, it's starting to become a reality that my dream is coming true. And then once you're there and you're living the dream, we always hear that term, living the dream. What was it like for you, kind of from the beginning, and then, as you continue to mature into the league?
Yeah, I mean, it was, first off, when I got to the NFL, walking into a locker room and meeting some of the players that you've seen. Carl Mecklenburg was the first person I saw when I walked in the building. He looked like a giant to me.
Yeah.
Tony Dorsett, he was on the team my rookie year. I heard about him, and then getting an opportunity to play with Dennis Smith. I mean, in the beginning, it was a little bit overwhelming, and I was kind of awestruck by all of it. Like, man, I made it here. The only thing I was thinking about, I got to stay. How can I stay? what do I need to do to make sure that I'm doing what the coaches want me to do. I'm where my teammates need me to be. I want to be a great teammate. I want to be a great player for my coaches. And realizing how much the owner put into the team, sacrificing for the team. We had one of the greatest owners, I think, in pro sports, and Mr. Pat Bowlen. The way he treated us, the way he treated all the players, he treated us like men. He let us know that he cared about us. And, I just wanted it to be reciprocal. I wanted to, everything that they gave to me, I wanted to give back to them in the form of my play on the field. And, it ended up working out well. I was able to, I think one of the biggest keys was, me being able to stay healthy a majority of my career. Although everybody has some injuries, but I never had any major injuries. And, I think that really helped me have a great experience in the NFL.
Yeah. And so your rookie year was 1989, right?
Yes.
And so this is something for me, man. And you'll know this date, September 17th, 1990.
Okay. What happened?
That's when the smiling assassin met the Nigerian nightmare. Yeah, it's like, it sounds like a monster movie right there. and it's one of those moments, it's kind of like you remember where you were at and what you were doing when you saw that play happen. I remember, seeing it live and again, being probably I'm sure for you, it's one of those key plays that everyone always talks about. You got so many, but that one right there, because he was the Nigerian nightmare for many.
Oh yeah. And it really amazes me that, people still talk about that play in 2020, and it happened, that was 30 years ago.
Yeah.
A long time ago. And, for me, when people ask me about it, I play it down a little bit, really, because, we had the hype back then when it all happened, all the excitement. But I think about the other side of it. I think about Christian Okoye and what he has to deal with, when people say, hey, man, you Atwater, what happened there, Yeah. And, he's a man, you don't have to deal with that the rest of your life. No, The only thing I can say about that is I'm happy that I was on this side of versus the other side, the many people that he's trucked. I'm glad it wasn't me on that play. Not to say that I haven't missed any tackles on him, but on that particular play, hey, that made it happen. So,
and that goes really, I just want to kind of touch on the play just from a mindset perspective, because again, I think, there's a lot of instances where, like, as you mentioned, he had trucked a lot of other people. And so you have to prepare as a defensive player long before you get on the field.
Oh yeah.
How you are going to respond in regards to that. And I always, say that boxers and football players, because of the punishment of the game, you have a gladiator mentality. And I'm sure, like the week before that game, you and Dennis Smith are talking about it. What was the mindset, in regards to that?
Well, I was still young. I still consider myself young. And, Dennis Smith and we were sitting next to each other in the meetings, and, his shoulder, I don't know if many people know this, but like he can barely lift his left arm up. But he kind of throw it up there like, hey, you see right there, not many guys are going or hitting them straight up. They're trying to go low, or they let him run by and they'll jump on his back. He's like, but no, we can't do that. And we got to hit him right in his mouth. We got to hit him straight up. And I was like, all right, you sure? Okay. I can't. Who am I to question Dennis Smith? So the opportunity came, and it happened the way kind of we had talked about. And again, I feel fortunate to be on that side of it. But yeah, you're right though. We did. We went through it, man. We talked about it. We visualized it, and fortunately, we were able to make it happen.
Yeah. And so we're going to transition a little bit just in regards to, now we get to the point where You win your first Super Bowl as a Denver Bronco with an amazing team. And I always tell people, I say, you know, because I've heard this, you know, so many times, that it's hard to get to the NFL, but it's even harder to stay. But it's even harder to win a Super Bowl and then repeat. There's very few teams that have been able to do that. So and again, you guys had Mike Shanahan, the mastermind.
Yes.
I was coaching you at that time, but I know as a team, there has to be a mindset that you going into when you go. You got one Super Bowl. That's the thing that, especially during that time, the Broncos had been so many times, but they didn't get the hardware. And a lot of times, you know, there could be a letdown in that second season.
Yeah.
What was the mindset, you know, as a team going into that second season or second year after winning to win that second Super Bowl?
Well, first off, I mean, we felt like Mr. Bolin had done a great job of providing resources to the coaches and to us as players. We felt like we were treated way better than we deserved to be treated. And we felt like our coaches just knew what the heck they were doing. You know, they put in the perfect game plans for us, put us in position to make plays. And then also they went out and they got great players. You know, we weren't playing with guys who, you know, who didn't have talent and who we had to motivate. You know, we all were self-motivated, but then, hey, if we were a little down, Mike would get us pumped up and ready to go. He said the right words to get us going. And so I think overall, we just had all the pieces there, you know, just the right environment for success. And, you know, it's a beautiful thing. And I wish every NFL player could experience it. You know, unfortunately, not every player will win a Super Bowl or, you know, necessarily be on a winning team who has all those things going for them, you know. And then we stayed relatively healthy, had a strong run game, great quarterback, great offense, you know, great defense, you know, great special teams. Everything was working and everybody played their part. And it was beautiful. It was like we were artists out there. Yeah. It felt like that because, you know, you see your offensive player make plays and you're like, man, how did you do that? And then, you know, we go out there, we get opportunity and we'd ask the question in the huddle, who's going to make a play? Who's up?
Yeah.
I got it. I got this one. we fighting for it.
Yeah, and you're right, man. And even, you know, being a spectator, watching it on TV or watching the games in the stadium, you're right. It was like watching an artist at work during those years, and it was you know, just a beautiful thing to see. And you know, I think that's why, once again, when people can spectate and see greatness in progress, there's something inside that will spark something in you to say, man, you know, maybe it's not football, but I want to be able to do that with my music, or I want to be able to do that with my writing. And just, you know, I'm sure that you guys inspired so many people that had nothing to do with football in regards to whatever it is they did, but to see, you stated it perfectly. It was just artistry in motion that people got to see with that. Yeah,
no, you're right. And, you know, we didn't know how special it was. I mean, I guess we knew. We knew it was something special. I mean, we'd be in practice. We have a game coming up, and, you know, we tell each other, man, we about to turn these boys up, man. We're about to get them. They don't know what's going to hit them.
Yeah.
But I don't think we were cocky. I don't think we were, you know, super, you know, trash talkers and all that. Yeah. It was all in fun. We just felt like we had a great team, great coaches, you know, great ownership, and, you know, you're gonna have to do something special to beat us.
Yeah. And so you retire in 1998 and
99.
After 99. Okay. Yeah. You spent the year in New York with the Jets. Yeah. You know, we're at the Hall of Fame for Terrell Davis is being inducted. And I remember seeing you there. And I don't know if you remember this, but I remember Kenny Easley, when he was doing his speech, he talked about the next defensive back coming on as a Hall of Famer, and your name was the name that came out of his mouth. I remember being close enough to see you where it almost surprised you, you know, to hear that. And again, just knowing you and the humility that you have, just being such a humble person in that moment, was that probably the first moment for you where you start to think, man, I may be a Hall of Famer, or did you even think it at that time?
You know what? No, that wasn't the first time. I mean, really, because I've been a finalist, a semifinalist for several years leading up to it. I thought it was possible, but I still felt like it was a possibility that I may not get in, and really, I felt that way until I heard David Bacon knock at my door. And then, it's something that all the work was done years ago. There's nothing really you can do now. So yeah, the how they say, the hay is in the barn. Hay was in the barn on it. So I can't say that that made me feel any more like it was going to happen. I think one more than that I felt a little bit more was when Ed Reed went in, and Ed Reed said, if Steve Atwater doesn't get in, I want to give him my place. I think that made some of the voters say, hey man, we got to take a second look, or we got to make sure we try to get him in. I think, I don't know.
Yeah.
But I saw Ed. I was like, hey man, I really appreciate you doing that, because I think that's really gonna help my case. And I think it did.
Yeah.
Who knows? But Ed Reed, that's my man. I appreciate you.
Yeah, and in the eyes of Bronco fans and just football fans in general, I think we believe you should have been there a long time ago. You gave us.
Excuse me, let me say this too, though. I mean, now what Kenny Easley did, it was beautiful. I mean, he was pointing out a number of safeties that he felt should be in the Hall of Fame, and I agree. I feel like safeties are underrepresented. It was long overdue for Kenny Easley. It's long overdue for John Lynch, Dennis Smith, Leroy Butler. There's a ton of guys out there. Rodney Harrison used to be my neighbor in Georgia. There are a lot of guys that still are deserving, and I'm hoping that they'll get in there. But yeah, I do appreciate what Kenny Easley did. But I was just saying that, what Ed Reed said, I think, that was when I really light bulb went off. Said, I think it could happen soon.
Yeah. Yeah, and I think you're absolutely right. There are so many, that are deserving, and hopefully over time we'll be able to celebrate them going in as well.
Yeah.
And now, we're going to kind of start to close it out, but I wanted to really kind of touch on one of the things that has always been important to me when I talk to athletes, because I think spectators, fans, they look at the athletic talent and your abilities on the field or on the basketball court, whatever the case may be, as being your gift. But I truly believe, I'm gonna give you an example. Kobe Bryant, obviously one of the most talented cats to ever, step on a basketball court.
Yeah, absolutely.
But his gifts were far beyond basketball. It started right here in that drive that he had inside of him. And a great example of that was a year after he retired from the NBA, he won an Oscar for an animated film, totally different from basketball.
Yeah.
And a creative side that we didn't even know that existed, but it just shows that the drive and passion. And, I've done some studying of Kobe since he passed away. And when you realize all the things that he was putting into place, 20 years, if he would have lived another 20 years, he would have likely been more known for the things he did after basketball than what he did for basketball. That's and incredible. I think, what I've seen with, Rod Smith and yourself, Terrell Davis, there's the outside ventures that you're a part of. Some of them are, from a financial standpoint, some of them are just giving back. Some of them are just right there in your family, and, being able to grow, raise kids, especially being an NFL athlete and being away and being able to also be a successful husband and father. I just wanted you to kind of share life after football and some of the successes that you've had after that.
Yeah, man, I'd probably say my biggest success is, hey, my wife and I, we met when we were in college. We just celebrated 30 years of marriage this past January. Well, sorry, December 31st, January 1st, whatever.
Mhm.
And, 4 beautiful kids, everybody healthy and doing well. We're definitely blessed. Uh, and as you know, I mean, any relationship takes a ton of work, a ton
Yeah.
of commitment, ton of sacrifices on everybody's side. And especially now, during COVID, everybody's being tested. Not necessarily just for the COVID, but
Yeah.
just in terms of relationships are being tested.
Yeah.
And, I'm proud to say that we've been doing a pretty good job of giving each other our space and talking when we need to talk and supporting each other through these difficult times. And I think it's going to continue to provide dividends for us all when this is all over. But yeah, I'm definitely proud of that, probably more than anything else. You know, Post career is still being married to my college sweetheart, and still in love with her, and still supporting and in our kids corners. They're all educated, they're working, they're kind of doing their thing, and we're right here with them. And we want to be in our kids' lives and in our grandkids' lives whenever they have children. Hopefully, nobody, knock on wood, it's not anytime too soon. Well, I mean, I won't say that. I mean, I wish it would happen soon because I'm getting up there. I like to have some grandkids, but
Yeah.
the timing isn't right now. So whenever that happens, we'll be ready for it.
Yeah.
Yeah, we're extremely proud of our children, and my wife and I, we're proud that we've been hanging in there, able to make it work through some tough times. Everybody has some tough times. Everybody has some great times. We've had definitely more great times than tough times, but there are times when we look at each other like, man, we get on each other's nerves right now. But at the end, we always hug and kiss and call it a night. So it's all good.
Obviously with the family, again, like I said, me being on the outside looking in, and I had the fortune of when you came back to Colorado to be able to help you find a home.
Yeah, you did
Got
a
to meet.
amazing job, man.
I appreciate that.
Appreciate you.
And I got to meet Letha in Malaysia, and then I've talked to Stephen over the phone. And again, it's just you can see that you got a great family, and it's just truly something to be proud of because as I mentioned, I mean there's some amazing athletes, amazing movie stars, singers that do some great things in their field, but then you look at the home life and it's not what anyone would necessarily say is congruent to what their career is. But to be able to have the balance of both of them is just an amazing feat in itself, and I have to applaud you for that.
Yeah, no, I appreciate it, and like I said, we've had some times where we've gotten on each other's nerves. We still have those times now where hey, we get out of my face. I don't want to see you right now. Okay, all right. But at the end of the day, we always make sure that we know that we love each other, and
Yeah.
we're going to be here. We're going to be here to the end.
Yeah, yeah. And that kind of leads me into the last question here. So now you're back with the Broncos in
Yeah.
the front office, and I
I
know
front office, they do personnel, that type of stuff.
where you at.
On the marketing department.
Okay, all right. So you're in the marketing
Yeah.
department and doing a great job. I've seen some of the interviews that you've been able to do, and it's like you're a natural at it.
I don't know about that. I feel like I'm still a little rough around the edges, but I really enjoy it though. I'm able to stay around football, stay with the team that I played, 10 of my 11 years with.
Yeah.
And always think back to Mr. Bolin, when he was here. And I still try to, operate the way I think he would want me to operate, man. The respect that he showed me, the respect that he showed to my teammates and coaches, that felt good for somebody in this position to do that. And, knowing that he didn't have to, he made me feel like $1 million. And, I want everybody to experience that feeling. And I try to make people feel good. I try to, encourage people. I try to uplift them and be a positive influence. You just never know how far a smile and a hello can go when somebody's having a bad day. So, I try to provide that along with, my other responsibilities.
And again, like I said, I think you do that very well. There are fans that have met you that know me and know that, I have a connection with you, that have sent me texts or sent me photos that they've taken with you. And they talk about, again, just the genuineness of you and just being a good human. So yeah, you definitely, as you transitioned into another area, you hitting them, but you hitting them in a different way.
Yeah. I don't know if I can take a hit. So I gotta hit them softly. Gotta bump into them.
Yeah. Hey man, I truly appreciate you being a part of the show today, and it's always a pleasure, whether in this platform or just when we can have lunch, just to be able to catch up with you, because I always walk away feeling good, number one, and enlightened, just in regards to the conversation and the experience. So I appreciate you being here.
Yeah, well, Barry, I got to tell you the same thing, man. You're inspiring to me, and I know a lot of other people out there. You work hard, you do things the right way. I consider you a friend, and I appreciate you. And again, thanks for having me on.
Absolutely. All right, folks, there you have it. The Smiling Assassin has given us some time, some nuggets. There's some information in there that will truly impact your lives. Definitely listen to this. Take notes while you're listening to it. Go back and listen to it again. And I'm telling you, the one thing that I want you to always remember, though, is that the struggle is real, but so is your greatness.
Ignite your greatness, take a leap of faith and you'll make it. Wanna live life to the fullest, you gotta be hardworking and patient. You got the fire within you, you got a dream that you should be chasing. Pushing through to the finish line and you got no time to be wasting, yeah. Ignite your greatness, take a leap of faith and you'll make it.